Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out from the Russia and Ukraine war to share with you. We've got reports today that Ukraine has retaliated after yesterday's deadly missile attack in Kiev. So, if you weren't aware of this, a children's hospital in Kiev yesterday was hit by a missile in broad daylight. Okay, this was yesterday on Monday, and we had 41 civilians that were killed in this attack. There was multiple missiles landing inside of Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and from what we understand, these were Russian missiles targeting Kiev. Okay, so Ukraine has retaliated for this, and they have launched dozens of drones into Russia just in the last 12 hours or so. We've got multiple regions that were attacked. Some of the regions that were attacked is like the Rostov region, the Kursk region, Belgorod, the Volgograd region, multiple regions here coming under attack. We also have the Voronezh region and also the Astrakhan region as well. Okay, so we know that an oil depot, at least one oil depot, was hit, caught on fire. And we also have at least two power substations as well that were also hit. So I'm going to be going over this. I've got some video footage that's coming out on X showing some of these attacks. What you see right here in the video footage is one of those oil depots that was destroyed. This was in the town of Kalach on the Don. Okay, is a southern region of Volgograd, from what I understand. This may be that oil depot, but this is definitely one of the oil depots that were hit, and it was a massive strike, as you can see here. Huge blaze. We actually have, I think, at least two blazes, as you can see there. There's some smoke on the left and the right. So very massive attack from the Ukrainians. We're going to be going over this information today and try to find out what happened here. But I will say we don't have all the information. Maybe more information will be coming out. But I think there was much more damage than what's being reported because we have so many regions that have come under attack. So I'm going to go over as much as I can with you here today. Let's go ahead and get right into this on Reuters. Russia says one dead, energy facilities on fire after Ukraine's drone attack. One person was killed, unfortunately, while two power substations and an oil depot caught on fire. After Ukraine launched tens of drones and attacks on several regions, Russian officials said on Tuesday. The attacks came after Russia blasted the main children's hospital in Kiev with a missile in broad daylight on Monday and rained down missiles across Ukraine, killing at least 41 civilians in the deadliest wave of airstrikes for months. So again, it was not just Kiev that came under attack yesterday. From what I understand, Russia launched at least 30 missiles into Ukraine, targeting multiple regions, not just Kiev. But Kiev was the highlight of the attacks yesterday, considering that, obviously Kiev is the capital, and it's a very dense population in that city. And also this children's hospital was hit, okay? So Russian air defense systems destroyed 38 drones, including 21 over the southern region of Rostov and 7 over Kursk, both of which border Ukraine, the Russian Defense Ministry said in a statement on the Telegram messaging app. The total number of drones launched by Ukraine was not immediately clear, so we have no idea how many drones were fired, but Russia's air defense system supposedly took down 38, including 21 over the southern region of Rostov, as it said here. So we've got at least, about 60 here just alone. Explosions were heard in the town of Kalach on the Don, in Russia's southern region of Volgograd, said the Baza Telegram channel, which has sources in Russian law enforcement. It also says here in a Telegram post, Regional Governor Andrei Bocharov said a power substation and an oil depot were set ablaze by falling debris from drones destroyed by Russian air defense systems. The substation fire was promptly doused, but firefighters were still battling the fire at the oil depot, Bocharov said. There were no injuries as a result of the attack, he said, adding there is no threat to residential buildings. Also, it says the Russian Defense Ministry did not list Volgograd among the regions where drones launched by Ukraine had been destroyed. So in the Volgograd region, from what I understand, there was at least one oil depot there that was hit and destroyed, based on the videos that we're going to show you here in just a little bit. Maybe that's why they didn't say they shot any down in that region. Maybe they didn't shoot down any at all. Who knows? A man died. 2 people were injured and several homes were damaged overnight in the Belgorod region bordering Ukraine, its Governor Vyacheslav Gladkov said on Telegram. So unfortunately, we had at least one innocent person, or 3 innocent people, excuse me. 1 man died. 2 people being injured here in these attacks in the Belgorod region. 3 drones were destroyed over the Belgorod region. The Russian Defense Ministry said Ukraine attacks over the past day had killed 4 people and injured 20, Gladkov said. It's just absolutely insane. It definitely seems like these attacks from both sides are starting to become more deadly. We're starting to hear more people being injured and unfortunately killed in these attacks on both sides, okay? Not just in Ukraine, but in Russia as well. This war is definitely starting to pick up in terms of casualties and injuries. A fire broke out at a power substation in Rostov, was put out after Ukraine launched tens of drones overnight, Vasily Golubev, governor of the Russian region, said on Telegram, adding that the fire had been extinguished. The defense ministry said 5 Ukraine launched drones were destroyed over the Astrakhan region and 2 over the Voronezh region, several hundreds of kilometers south of Moscow, but there were no details of damage. Russian officials rarely disclose the full extent of damage inflicted by Ukrainian attacks. This is a big one, okay? This is why, for the most part, we have to rely on independent sources a lot of the times on X to get this information, because Russian officials don't always give the full details. Like I've said many times, as we stated here in this article, that they state that they shoot these drones down and then the falling debris is what's caused the fire, okay? This happens so frequently that at some point it's just the way they report it, okay? More than likely, many of these drones could be striking. We do have some footage showing that, but most of the time the Russians come out and state that they shot them down, and then it's the debris that causes the fire, not the actual explosion from the drone hitting its target. Reuters could not independently verify the Russian reports. There was no immediate comment from Ukraine. On Monday, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky had vowed that Kyiv would retaliate for the missile attack on Children's Hospital, and that they did. They definitely did retaliate, and this was a very big hit in Russia. Like I said, at least 5, maybe 6 regions coming under attack here, maybe even more, but that's just based on the information that we're being given here, okay? So I've got a few things I want to go over here. We're gonna show you some video footage from some of these attacks, also some additional information on X to go over, and then I'm going to be showing you guys a response as well from John Kirby from the Biden administration. He's going to be talking about the fact that the U.S. has no plans to lift restrictions on strikes inside of Russian territory, meaning that Ukraine cannot, still after this attack at Kyiv with this children's hospital being hit, excuse me, they still are going to be unable to strike deep inside of Russia at this time. So that's obviously a big issue again for Ukraine. So let me show you some of this information here. Let's go ahead and get into this. This is from Vicegrad24, breaking. Ukraine responds to Russia's missile attacks against Ukrainian hospitals and cities with a massive wave of suicide drone strikes against Russian infrastructure. 5 Russian regions were struck, with electrical substations and oil depots destroyed. So this is the video that you guys were seeing on the waiting screen when you came in, but I want to show you it with the sound. It's just 10 seconds, so let's go ahead and take a look real quick. So as we can see in full screen and with sound, definitely a massive blaze here at this oil depot. This has to be one of the biggest hits that I've seen, one of the biggest fires at least, in Russia, based on all these oil depots that I've seen get hit. I think the last one that I saw get hit was when Ukraine launched, I guess what they called Neptune missiles. It's Ukraine's cruise missiles, and they struck some port over near the Sea of Azov. I forget the name of the city that was attacked. But that was a very massive blaze, okay? This is much smaller compared to that, but this is definitely one of the bigger hits with drone attacks that I've seen based on the dozens of reports that I've done regarding these oil depots coming under attack. So let me show you another one here. This said, it says Ukraine News Live, a 5th drone flew into an oil depot in Kalach-on-Don, Volgograd region, Russia. So I'm thinking this might be the same oil depot that got hit, but from a different angle. So let's take a look at this video as well.
Вот это прилетел уже 5-й дрон, но от нашего дома где-то здесь меньше километра. Сколько здесь будет? Метров 700, наверное. Вот я снимаю с крыши своего дома.
So isn't that crazy how close these oil depots are to people's homes. I mean, look at this guy. He's clearly up on top of his own roof. And look at how close these houses are to this oil depot and how close that blaze is. That can't be more than maybe a couple hundred yards away from this guy's house. And I'm pretty sure when they heard these drones coming in, they knew there was going to be an explosion at this oil depot. And imagine the people that live near oil depots that haven't been hit yet. I'm sure they've got to be a little scared thinking that at some time Ukraine's going to target their oil depots as well. And this is something that Ukraine has been doing for a long time now, for several months. And they will continue doing this because every time they strike these oil depots, it's making it more difficult for the economy of Russia to continue fighting this war, because majority of their money that they make in their country is based off of the sale of oil. Okay, so that's why Ukraine is continuing to do this. And at some point, okay, it's got to do some damage to the Russian economy and make it even more difficult for them to purchase the equipment they need to continue fighting this war. So I think Ukraine is going to keep doing this all the way up until we get a complete ceasefire in this war. Also, this is here from Igor Sushko. Says Russia, electrical substation attacked by Ukrainian drones in Sudsa, Kursk region. So this is the Kursk region coming under attack. And this is an electrical substation that was hit here too. We can definitely tell this is some sort of electrical station. And there you go. It was hit, direct hit right there by some Ukrainian drones, according to Igor Sushko. So there's that information for you. And then finally right here as well, I'm going to show you this also from Anton Gerashenko. Russian Telegram channels report a drone attack on an oil depot in Kalach-on-Don, Volgograd region of Russia last night, which is this video here that we've seen already. Russian propagandists wrote that drones flew one by one and locals heard about 10 explosions. It is also reported that 2 transformers at an electrical substation in the Rostov region of Russia caught on fire. Okay, so now this one says the Rostov region. This one over here, what was this one? This one was the Kursk region. Okay, so we may have 2 different regions with electrical substations that were hit, but primarily I want to show you 2 videos here. We're going to watch this one that shows this drone coming in and striking, I believe, either one of the electrical substations or an oil depot, and then we've got another oil depot here on fire, showing that this fire was not contained even through the nighttime, because this looks like it happened probably sometime towards the end of the day, and then also through the night it was still burning. So let's take a look at this real quick, and then we'll talk about this. Okay, so what we could see in this video here was this drone clearly flying in, and we could hear the explosion after it hit. Okay, it hit right there, and bam, it blew up. So from this video, it's really hard to tell what exactly was hit here, but something was struck that was reported here from Russian Telegram channels, and then eventually put on X. So I want to show you this video down here as well. I don't think this has any sound. Yeah, there's no sound, but what we can see here, I don't know if this is electrical substation. It could be. That's what it looks like to me. But we've definitely got 1 or 2 fires here as well in this video. So there you go. We've got multiple things definitely that were hit here, okay? Electrical substations and oil depots directly hit. Okay, so finally, I've got one last thing I want to show you here from Nexta. It says U.S. has no plans to lift restrictions on AFU strikes with U.S. weapons deep into Russian territory, even after the Russian missile attack on Okhmatdit, which was that children's hospital, says John Kirby. Okay, he's from the Biden administration. And it says, remind, United States has prohibited Ukraine from firing more than 100 kilometers deep into Russian territory. So this is the problem with Ukraine right now. They can just consistently keep coming under attack by these missiles, and they can't respond, okay? They can't take out these warplanes, go after these airfields where Russia's launching majority of these missiles from their aircraft, right? They use airfields that are not too far away from the Russian border, and they take off from these airfields that could literally just be maybe 300 kilometers away from the border, and they'll fly, 100 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, launch their missiles or glide bombs or whatever they launch, and these missiles will fly for several hundred kilometers, whatever. And Ukraine is not allowed to target these aircraft because they can't fire inside Russian territory. And all they can really do is try to defend from these missile attacks, which clearly they're unable to, based on what we saw yesterday in Kiev when that hospital came under attack. Okay, so even the capital cannot defend from these attacks. So this is a big problem, and this is going to show here in this video that even after this attack inside of Kiev yesterday, the Biden administration at this time is still unwilling to change their policy to allow Ukraine to strike deeper in Russian territory. So take a look.
Rocket attack that killed 30 people at the largest children's hospital. Does this shift the U.S.'s position on not allowing Ukraine to strike directly at Russian airfields that originated these attacks?
Shift the position.
Yes. Make you change your mind about not allowing that, and how do you justify not giving Ukraine permission to attack?
There's been no change in our policy. You saw that the president several weeks ago gave guidance to Ukraine that they can use U.S. supplied weapons to strike targets just over the border. That's still the case.
On Iran, we've heard the U.S. say that this election rocket attack that killed 30 people.
Okay, so as we can see, no change in U.S. policy at this time to allow Ukraine to strike deeper than beyond the border. Okay, so very crazy that they're not allowing them to strike any further, but at the same time, they're U.S.-made weapons. They are not Ukrainian weapons. And if Ukraine does not abide to this policy, they could eventually cut Ukraine off. Okay, so Ukraine is definitely fighting with one arm tied behind their backs, as many politicians have stated. So, big problem for Ukraine, right? They need to be able to strike back deeper. And the only way they can really do that at this moment, from what we've really seen, is with their own weaponry, either their drones, which clearly they continue attacking with their drones, but this can only do so much, okay? And going after their oil depots, I think, is a good thing. It's a smart move for Ukraine to do this. But Russia's got so many of these oil fields, so they got to go after a lot of them to really do some damage. But what we saw here clearly was potentially multiple oil depots that could have been hit, and also electrical substations. Okay, so now we've got Ukraine targeting electrical infrastructure inside of Russia, as well as Russia's been doing this to Ukraine for several months also. So yeah, just wanted to share some of these updates with you guys and let you know what's going on over here. But Ukraine definitely did retaliate for this deadly missile attack in Kiev yesterday, targeting that children's hospital. Okay, so let me know what you think down below regarding this story. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.